and chair and I say near in some if you new town ba na kwakoya rehosem e wo honom a school dan e wo new town experimental school and some if you honom ba ye dan yes ho for a very long time a dan no ebubugu ya e kofa rehosem bebre na e de eba Ghana ha sei na on your screens the aftermath see a dan iron rods any emu cement blocks near the omuyiye enyina and the wall screens ne so na you could see say omo abo adwuma etimi a rescue nipa dodo na e de omo afri na currently what is happening at the site and on your person you do go through what is currently happening at the site and I say adichi nei edien na si wo honom ye de wo eba be fa nyina mu e wo honom na wahu ede eko na as we speak now there is heavy security presence a site honum investigations do na ekoso ewo honum because see na dey ya twetwa gu hoyi ye tani ba sese yifo no condemn for ba besesa na dey nyina e de afri honum akọ no asoso niema ebeboa aid with investigations and see ebe site honum akọ the heavy presence of the security forces, Asra for a police for not Mompending for Ghana Fire Service and so their personnel are there. And see, that is the update. If we honum eba na yede enyema dodona emamo ewo ye previous update yede ma mu chemu Richard aye abrantie ba kwa o hwere ne ba 14 years old ewo site hono na ne raho na ode ne nsem to dwa ewo ho na what is the current stage because ono na busuafo be said 9 na ewo rebels nim yetimi rescue omu nyina ma ba ko de ofamu hwere ne nkwa yenko ne yenko je Richard time na or share any sentiments no ewo hono but then the update is also a free mu battery mu Richard after send ne ba ne free mu na all year rounds to check up on omo edi omo call hospital no on your screens Richard abrantie na kwakonya accident after say all nante or faha from hospital to hospital no wakwakonya accident and also so arehosam ewo ho a ye the update ewo eno ankasa mu no so de ebebremo ewo ho na Vice President Jane Naana Opoku-Agyemang Professor Jane Naana Opoku-Agyemang ekopie scene ho one interior minister honorable Muntaka Mubarak omo ekopiem ewo scene ho a omo so ekohwe assess what is currently going on site nti ebekọ na for vice president any interior minister omo kopiem wo ho no and someone course so ni ade nyina ye de abremo ti yankọ na the arrival of vice president ni emra sisi
National, you were the former member of parliament for Yinsuam, Teddy, and I want to our Hamid after the Accra mayor, and also examine our Hamid say that after the member of parliament, and also I can hear Bobby General Hamid say, the military no a briefy, my men said you see the fire service, young Pabas body and said, and from our woman, Emra, not two bases, and the fire service, not more, not more, the police, the military, ambulance service. And I feel the K9 for Omojumo said the ST0RM and F. No, so in the sense, I'm more coordinated. Actually, we are a camera. The interior minister, the count, ɛna ɔne ɔmanfoɔ nyinaa di nkɔmmɔ ɛka akɔmatɔyɛ mu nsɛm ɛde kyerɛ abusua ne ɔmanfoɔ nyinaa anɔpɛ yi maame abɛduru
Enti Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang na okopie mu e site honom a na ode ne nsem atudwa na omo nso briefing no aso sese den na akwakosi what is currently going on rescue no oma ya akoduru sen eni ade ni nyina ne update a omo de ema Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana honom. Enti that is the update a free honom eba. Yes, that is the update. I free site honum eba. Yeah, twaswa on this and same year muno. Interior Minister Honorable Muntaka Mubarak and so ekopie mu our site honum no so yamani briefings ni ade ema later ni hu say on Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang omu nyina aka bomu a omo egi briefings e dey free asrafo any a police form ho mo boa with the rescue mission no any update a free honum eba. Na Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang after say okọ ho ma ye briefing no so the nsem ene ne ma okohu ye ewo ho ede ebetudwa ewo no ankasa ne handle so ewo X enti no any update no ma me no ankasa babonte a ode ne nsem ebe etu edwa ewo ho no enti no ye bekọ na ye de no update no ede abremu enti ye bekan ne nsem ode tudwa no na ye de no so ede abremu ewo ho no enti Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang after the visit no or the nsem tudwa in a write-up ewo honum. That is what we have. Ordinance some to judge him say yes. Wako akohu what is currently going on. Wako assess the situation no. Omo briefing no as to nipa dodoa. Omo eji omo rescue omo ni omo so a omo efri mu ewo ho ni nyina was the updater. Ye de ema Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang. I no so odi tudwa edi kire mu say the rescue mission na ekoso no eka wom because e din kan di tudwa say dan na nkasa si wona na wo say nke bubu no na ye si no foforo na say ye man reinforcement no ni nyina na ye sika ni nyina aka ensem ne ho enti ye na yaba bedru ba bia ye duri na odi tudwa kire mu say eka bia wo rescue mission ni ho ni nyina aban ebefa ka ni nyina no ma make sure say omo so omo hospital ye hwe omo prepra eni ade ni nyina aban ebeboa na omo ahwe na omo afaka no na aba ama abusuafo no omo so eho ahare omo kakra in these grieving times na eno so aboa ama enema akoso se de etie enti yebekọ ne ahwe Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang in write up. So this morning I visited the Accra Newtown Experimental School following the collapse of a multi-story building on the site and received a detailed briefing on the situation. I was accompanied by the Minister for Interior, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, along with officials from the Ghana Armed Forces 48th Engineer Regiment, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana National Fire Service, the National Ambulance Service, and NADMO. And to Ochiremo Okopiemu, and Anope ewo ho no mo a one Interior Minister Honorable Muntaka Mubarak ne kopiemu a okoye briefing no what with niema ekoso wo ho from Ghana Armed Forces, Ghana Police Service, Ghana National Fire Service, National Ambulance Service, and NADMO. Omo nyina ka omo hubo mu a omo rescue mission. The response efforts have been commendable. A total of 23 victims were rescued, but sadly 3 lives were lost. I also acknowledge the local community which acted as first responders and played a critical role in the early stages of the rescue efforts. Work is ongoing to fully clear the debris, with operations expected to continue over the coming days. Enti ochiremu a obebo new town for omo teben experimental school no obebo mambaso because they offered to help at the early stages of the rescue mission. Omo enekomu ekoboa first ewo honum ewo ho enti ochiremu a the aka all the rubbles na de ne concrete aka wo ho nyina on be yin nyina afiri na mom in the coming days no the other juma eka ho na juma eka ho also mo ye nyina on be make sure say omo ebe start no my on behalf of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama expressed condolences to the affected families and commended all emergency services for their swift and coordinated response. We need to go beyond response and address the root causes of such incidents. Adherence to building regulations and accountability accountability at all levels are essential to prevent future events. Into Tremwa, on it, President John Dramani Mahama, Oma Kambu Momode, our retention some Emma Busia, Oma Shere, Nkofo, Ewo, Newtown, a dying Jirigu, Yeno, Omo, Eddie, Omo Ya Consem, Emma, Omo, now Oma making sure says, we have to be proactive. Yen Chairman Semni, see, and Sanya Kofa, we are Banagana, ye Boka, home. We could have paid less to enforce the regulations. Now we are going to pay more just to, cater for a disaster. From the site, we visited victims receiving treatment at the 37 military hospital and the police hospital, where we were received by the Inspector General of Police, Christian Teteyohuno, at the University of Ghana Medical Center, UGMC. We were joined by the Minister for Health, Honorable Kwabena Minta Kando. I assure the victims of government support during this very difficult time. In Tiomo Visite, baby, you are Ghana Police Hospital, yedi ebimu eko 37 military hospitals, yedi ebimu ko University of Ghana Medical Center. Nina yedi ebimu ko ho ma omuko pie mu ho no ma omuko hwe omo ho ekan ye no enti no any update free the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang ho eba. Na omo leadi rescue no Lieutenant Colonel Amponsa edensam tudwa na okyeremu a edan na ebubu ye no enya bibia say it is purely a structural integrity issue. Eno na ma dan na ebubu ye nenko tie Lieutenant Colonel Amponsa Niemra Sisi.
We know that this place is a school. As at the time we've been here, we've not seen any of the students making their way here. Does it mean that this place is off limits for all persons as work continues today?
Well, that is the decision of the school authority. But looking at the situation here, I think it's not an ideal for the school children to embark on their school activity for today, at least for today. It will be prudent for the place to be cleared for them to start school. So that is what we see.
A lot of people are asking questions as to why this may have happened. I know you're seeking to clear the debris, but on matters of investigation, can you tell us what is expected to happen as well?
Well, I think the whole issue has to be subjected to investigation. So for now, we cannot be able to establish the real cause of the building collapse. But for such a structure and as an experienced engineer personnel, you could see that it's purely structural integrity issues. But as I said, I'm sure detailed investigation will be carried out by the relevant authorities.
In terms of the work that is expected today, personnel who are supposed to be on the ground, can you provide us details of that as well?
Well, all I can say is that we have a coordinated strength of personnel from all the sister security services for us to carry out the activities that are likely to happen today. But in terms of the figures, I can tell you that at least for the military, we have about 30 personnel on ground. Not more yesterday, there were about 50. But as the work has reduced, we may not need that significant numbers. We aim to reduce the numbers at the site. So, but the fact remains that we have adequate personnel to be able to carry out the remaining activities.
Yes, so that is the update I free a year. Lieutenant Colonel Amponsaho Ede Eba Uchiremwa. Yes, Dine de Jirigu Yenin omo ye investigations. Nemum ono de ohunu say structural integrity no any the issue e ma sa ne mani na si na sisi e baby o ma ye adwuma na kodru no omu hia nipa dodo bebre enti numbers no omo teso asrafo dodo no omo ateso police force so wo ho omo ye adwuma no matete so because they don't need all the people around. As a year ejumano ekoso se se edi ejumano akofom no sanso de nsem etudwa echiremu a residents amo ano mote omote Newtown ho omo ebo omo ho emodin pa epoaye ema the early stages of the rescue no angasa to nanum to how they came and helped with the rescue and san na nadmo jumayefo ne omo maka security forces ni na eba be pie mu ho no ti enko ne entie Colonel Amponsa ne nsem no ne nsamra sese.
Last night we had a report of the building collapse at Newtown where we are currently located, and as part of our mandate we quickly deployed personnel and then the needed equipment support to help rescue the victims of the unfortunate disaster. Upon arrival here, we established the interagency collaboration with the NADMO, which is the lead agency, as well as the Ghana Police Rep, the National Ambulance, the Fire Service. And let me acknowledge the fact that the first responders, that is people within the general area, also played a very vital role. So since our deployment, series of activities have been conducted. The initial phase of activity was to establish cording in order to provide security at the incident area. Sequel to that, we engage in the search and then the rescue activities. And as of this morning, I'm confident to say that we have made significant effort in terms of the number of personnel that have been rescued. We have rescued 20 personnel. Unfortunately, 3 are dead, making 23 victims. Yes. So we have rescued 20 victims and then recovered 3 dead bodies, making 30. So making 23. So basically, that is the activities we have done so far. As of this morning, we continue with the demolition of the rubbles. And as you can see, we have reached the base of the storyboarding, and there is no individual trap or victim trap under.
Because that was one of the concerns, that there could still be persons inside the rubble, but you say that as you've reached the base, there's no such thing.
Yes, there's no such individual who is currently trapped under the collapse structure.
So we're at the base, we've seen the rubble. What is expected to happen today?
Okay, so our future engagement or our current activity is to clear the debris in order to make sure that the area is free from this unfortunate incident. So that's operation.
Yes, Colonel Amponsan and Semnodi to Jano Chirimua. They've gotten to the base of the debris, all the rubbles, Omedrasie, and speculation say Ebimu Chirimu say Ebimu da social say any adeno. Omedrasie, they can confirm. Say Obia and Shase, but then Asat Anopano na Omu Etime Nipa 20 and na Miensan, so they discovered 3 dead bodies. There is a Nipa Miensan, unfortunately, Omu Efrimu Ewo Honum.